Welcome back to another Cavs game reaction. Game 23 for Cleveland. No Cavs jacket on today because last night the Cavs went ice cold, shooting from the floor and falling victim to the Magic by the final score of 104-94 in Orlando. What really turned this game against Cleveland and in the favor of the Orlando Magic was the third quarter, as the game was pretty much neck and neck headed into halftime, like you would expect these two teams to be, with both the Magic having their breakout season and the Cavs having, maybe not necessarily the kind of start that we would have hoped for, but still having the roster to have enough talent to at least be afloat in the Eastern Conference right now. Game was pretty close after halftime, but in the third quarter, the Cavs, they could not sink a shot if it was a comatose infant in a swimming pool at this point. Neither team actually shot well from beyond the arc, both teams in the low to mid 20% in this game, but the Cavs relied on that outside shooting a lot more than the Magic did. The Magic also did a pretty good job of playing defense against Cleveland. Orlando outscoring the Cavs 30-15 in that third quarter, making that fourth quarter feel like a bit of an uphill battle for the comeback effort. And the comeback effort for the Cavs was certainly there, just couldn't really ever quite reach the promised land of the Cavs ever really gaining full control of that game back in the fourth. Donovan Mitchell with a couple of rough sequences late, where there was one where he had a one-handed dunk attempt, which, yes, I do believe he was fouled on, but there were certainly safer ways of trying to secure those 2 points than going for some kind of crazy one-handed dunk. Then Donovan Mitchell actually made a pretty good play on the ball for a steal, but he held up on the attempt, kind of sensing some pressure behind him, allowing the Magic defense to recover, and I don't believe the Cavs got any points out of that turnover as well. No Evan Mobley in the lineup for the Cavs again, but I will say that Dean Wade in this one was better than useless, which for Dean Wade in the starting lineup, I will take what I can get out of those minutes. Knocked down some outside shots, did have a few steals, some decent moments in this game last night. But Jarrett Allen, who is a normal starting five member, did not have a night to write home about, fouling out after just 15 minutes of play. I mean, I guess he was well on his way to double-digit rebounds, but that's probably going to be expected from most games out of your starting center. So with Jarrett Allen getting so little time on the court, Tristan Thompson was in his place for much of those minutes, and he actually had himself a pretty nice game. Tristan Thompson, double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds. Definitely had a good thing going with Darius Garland last night as well. Garland, for my money, putting in the best performance for Cleveland when it was all said and done. 36 points on 11 for 23 shooting, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. Backcourt partner Donovan Mitchell, not a great night for him. I did mention some of those late game sequences that didn't quite go his way, but his shooting overall was bad. 22 points on 6 of 18 from the floor, 2 for 10 from beyond the arc. And when you're possessing the ball as much as Donovan Mitchell is, not being efficient with it is definitely going to have an adverse effect on the offense, and it was definitely not supported well by the rest of the Cavs with him shooting-wise. Between Max Strus, Niang, and Okoro, not a single three-pointer was made in 14 attempts. Max Strus just having 6 points, Okoro with 1, Niang with a goose egg as far as points goes, and he also went 0 for 10 from the floor. Look, there's been a lot of angst against JB Bickerstaff this season, and look, I'm still not convinced that he's the guy to lead this Cavs team to where they want to go, but I don't think it's on him to make these three-point shots, right? Like, we can complain about other stuff, like some of the rotations, and I will talk about Craig Porter Jr. again in this one, but as far as going out there and having a poor shooting night, I mean, JB Bickerstaff can't make the shots for him. He's just the one. JB Bickerstaff can't make threes. But what is on JB Bickerstaff is just to not play your backcourt for almost 40 minutes in the first half of a back-to-back, because they do play against Boston this evening, both Mitchell and Garland getting more than 35 minutes in this one, especially that, Karis LeVert is out and Craig Porter Jr. did not see the floor again for essentially no reason. Look, I know he's on a two-way contract, and you can only have 50 NBA games under a two-way contract, but if it's that much of an issue, just convert it. He's definitely good enough to stick with this roster, even if like everybody on this Cavs roster was healthy. I still think Craig Porter Jr. is for sure like solid backup point guard. That's what he showed he could be with this team. It won't cost him much of anything to do. It's not like he's going to demand some kind of big money deal. If anything else, he could just be a spark plug. I know that some of the offensive outbursts we saw from Craig Porter Jr. earlier this season might not be a good expectation for him for the rest of the season, but he could certainly, on a night where the team just kind of, again, they sucked at shooting from outside last night, that's just what it is, he could be a spark plug. Sometimes guys just need to see that attack mindset play out when the shots aren't falling. They had to get those points in other ways. But on the other side for the Magic, Paolo Banchero overcame a potential injury in the third quarter, came back in the game, and he did manage to put up a 20-point, 10-rebound double-double. Franz Wagner had a much better game in this one than he did against the Cleveland last time. Still 0 on three-point shooting, but not great shooting numbers as well. Like 19 points on 7 for 18 from the floor, hitting 5 out of 7 of his free throws. Not tremendous numbers, but he did have 8 rebounds and 4 assists. So putting more of a mark on this game than he did in the game in Cleveland that they had. Batadze had a good day as well in the paint, going 6 for 8 shooting. Jalen Suggs, his stats aren't that crazy, but his defense was pretty darn good on Donovan Mitchell. That one and dunk attempt, again, certainly was a foul, but the Cavs had already used their challenge, so it might as well not have been. Refs didn't call it. Ingles off the bench fairly had a decent game as well. Both teams definitely a bit off in regards to their outside shooting, but the Magic were just a little bit better in the other areas of the game than the Cavs were yesterday, and Orlando's defense especially was not making things easy for the Cavs. So Cleveland will have to look off to shake off any fatigue this evening when they take on the Celtics in their first of 2 consecutive games. These two teams play each other again on Thursday as well. Both of those games will be in Boston for the Cavs against the Celtics. And that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you didn't make it this far into it, feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. You can let me know what you thought about this game down in the comments below and how the Cavs can look to shake this result off down in the comments below if you want to. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.